All right, I'm going to have a go at the Guardian's Cryptic Crossword for Tuesday, April 9th, set today by Picaroon, who did that April Fool's one. That was a lot of fun. Let's see what we have today. I expect it to be a little more normal. Showing directors, holding drinking vessel, a place for drying out. Thinking that's the definition, a place for drying out. Well, it could be a rehab center, but I think it's more likely to be, for drying clothes. Or is there something when you dry out turf or fish or anything else, you lay them out? Yes, for clothes, a clothes horse, a washing line. No, I'm not saying it. Then the wordplay would be showing. Is that to do with a screening of a film? Or, could it be horse racing, win, place, or show? Directors, I think, is often something like board. Could be something board for drying out. Yes, holding a drinking vessel, a cupboard. Well, there's the hot press, we would call it, or we used to call it in Ireland. Airing, yes, an airing. So a showing of a television program would be an airing. And then there's our drinking vessel and our directors. That's good to get one across, and some nice starting letters. Parting with sons awkward, without right, maternal bonds. The definition could be at the beginning, a parting. I'm thinking sons awkward is going to be an anagram of sons, although awkward without right might mean to take the letters of awkward except for the R. So let's see, we're looking for 12 letters. No, I don't think we would have enough for sons awkward. And then would the definition be maternal bonds? But I think it's a question mark, meaning that would be a loose definition or a joke, a pun. Maternal, apron strings would be maternal bonds. Also a good song by Everything But the Girl. I like that as, I can see maternal bonds would be a good definition for that. How then does the wordplay, parting, must be an anagram of parting, in part. And I think sons, parting with sons, and that is anagrammed, but I think without right, we've seen this before, where without means all of this goes on the outside of an extra R, because parting and sons, which is 11 letters, it only has one R, and we need another one. So this is a promising start, getting one across and one down. How about traveler in greater need of water, has head dropping. I think it's going to be a traveler, but Rider, maybe. In greater need of water. Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be a word that means something like drier, in greater need of water, but without its first letter. Oh, arid would be in need of water. Is arider a word and then we drop the A to get rider? It doesn't seem right, but at the same time, anything is possible with these crossword setters. Well, then, what would a famous Christian's cycling broadcast be? I think the definition is a famous Christian, and it could be somebody whose first name is Christian, a famous. I can't think. Christian, Cristiano. There's a few of those. Christian Slater, Christian. Of course, could be a British celebrity who I'm not familiar with. Cycling can be that the letters of one other word cycle around. You shuffle them around in order. But then broadcast can be an anagram indicator, so. But I'm thinking it's broadcast could be aired. So could that be redie? I mean, that's aired, meaning broadcast, and we cycle through the letters. Let me look up and see if there is somebody called Christian Redeye. No, there's a German actor and singer called Christian Redl, R-E-D-L. So much for that. Anyway, we'll come back to it. How about horny beast hurried over with young King Henry? Well, since young king seems like wordplay, and I think Henry too, I'm thinking the definition is going to be a horny beast. And very fortunately, we have the N and the R. Would have thought, I think, maybe of a rhino or maybe even a unicorn if it was going to be a mythical one. But there is the narwhal. I can see we have Hal at the end, who would be Henry. Hurried over. We have ran backwards, so a word for hurried, and we turn it over. Oh, and then with is simply W. And it's young King Henry. I would have thought that might be YK or YR. But no, in Shakespeare's play Henry IV, Part 1 in particular, I suppose, when he's young, he's Hal hanging around with Falstaff. Good, all right. Kind of deck with sailor not leaving navy. Again, this is why it's so useful to get the starting letters. I think our brains are really designed to work very well with indexing by alphabetical order, because I can think of a kind of card deck beginning with T, tarot, and it starts with tar, which would be a sailor. And then I think it's the word not, and it says leaving navy. I think the N leaves not to give OT. I think that's how that works. And funnily enough, in one of David Webb's recent videos, he talked about how in crosswords, when they indicate one letter leaving a word, it's often written in this illogical way, where it says not leaving navy. It's actually N for navy, leaving not. And I think he indicated, just by his tone of voice, that, yeah, that doesn't make sense, but it's accepted crossword etiquette that can be done. So I think that's right. We will find out, of course, if any of the crossers disagree. Casts working with 9 non-stop. All right, let's maybe wait until we get 9 for that. Marx's work, inspiring leader of revolution, that's uncomfortable. All right, I think it's going to be uncomfortable as the definition. Now, Marx, of course, we're, I think, supposed to think of Karl Marx, Das Kapital, but I'm also thinking of the Marx Brothers. Oh, of course, we maybe also just need to think of Karl Marx as being German. And so maybe the German word for work. Inspiring can mean one word goes inside of another. Leader of revolution might simply be the R, but it could also be Che. They love using Che Guevara. But that's uncomfortable. No, I don't have enough on that. Let's go back to the downs. Mobile phones cases yet to change for starters. That could be a word meaning mobile, but I'm not seeing something. Or could it be starters as in starters you might have in a multi-course meal, soups or salads? Or it could be starters as in people who start things. Could it be people who give you a start, who surprise you? But these are very unusual letters. What's going to come between the H and the T? I'm thinking it's a composite word, something like nuthatch or mobile. No, not saying it. Thus, Tom gets in tizzy after answer given in court. Ooh, I wonder if it could be thus, but or it could be answer given in court. Is it something you would say in court? But something in court might also mean that it begins with C and ends with T. Let me pause and think about that. It could also be court as in woo, but nothing else is coming to me. All right, let's try idealist, running, military group. Oh my goodness. After a very promising start, I've run into some tricky ones. I think it could be an idealist as the definition. Running maybe is an anagram of indicator for military group. or a word. Oh, running could be something like on. Um, yeah, but I'm not thinking of either an idealist beginning with P or a military group. Well, there's so many: regiment, battalion, army. Nope. All right. Choose to pen article on start of Rachel Riley's work, say. Choose, maybe. Well, if it was 3-2, it could be opt-in, but it's 2-3. Choose to pen article on start of Rachel would be on R. But now Rachel Riley, of course, does the sums and puts up the letters in Countdown. Choose to pen or choose. Oh, maybe choose, which might be opt, pens an article, goes around an article on the start of Rachel. So what would that be? Well, an article would be an A-N or the. None of them go very well after the O. Yeah, not seeing it. Flogging, Parisian and complaining about it. I'm thinking Parisian and is going to be A-E-T with a word for complaining going about the E-T, and it will mean flogging, which of course could mean whipping or it could mean selling. Oh, yes, selling would be retailing. And there's our ET, and around it is railing. So if you're railing against something, you're complaining about it. All right, good to get another one after quite a gap. Let's look at these other crosses I haven't looked at. European, bores, knock, pretentious, American protesters. Well, just because European is so often used in wordplay simply as E or EU, I'm thinking the beginning of the clue is the wordplay, and therefore the end would be the definition, either protesters or American protesters. Is it some protest group? Yeah, then the bores might simply be the E or the EU for European goes inside of maybe a word for knock, which can be to criticize or simply to knock on something. Well, what's pretentious? I don't know a short word for pretentious. Or is it an American, pretentious American? No. Expose, fraudster, we hear, one in extreme position. Well, the we here is very clearly indicating a homophone. So is it a homophone of expose fraudster? And it's going to mean one in extreme position. Although one in something could also be wordplay. That I could be a one that's gone inside of something. No, not seeing it. Belief Manx cat lives with Rafe Fiennes currently. That's a great clue. Nice surface to it. And it's very puzzling. Like, what has a Manx cat got to do with Rafe Fiennes? Now, Rafe Fiennes currently, I hope it's not that he's currently on the West End playing some role, or maybe in some film at the moment, playing some famous role. Belief. Well, a belief could be an ism. Manx cat lives with Rafe Fiennes currently. No. I do like the clue, but I have not a clue what it means. Oh, 9 was the American protesters. Maybe it is a plural. Red something. Oh, if it is going to be EU inside of it, where would that go? Could end the first word with E, then begin the next with U. No, not seeing it. All right, maybe let's finish off the acrosses. Part of air from soprano grandly making comeback. Well, because we have a G and there's a G in grandly, I am wondering if it is a hidden clue, and then with the additional twist making a comeback, we have to read letters backwards. And if we start with the A in grandly and work backwards, we have argon, which I think is a gas found in the air. All right, that was straightforward. We looked at that one. Still can't think of uncomfortable. Putting on thick coat. There's nothing picaroon's too old for. Well, picaroon referring to himself or herself. It could be, yeah, picaroon's too old for. I do wonder if the nothing could be an O. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Neither end looks like the definition. Well, maybe putting on, which can have several different meanings. Putting on as in donning, or putting on as in making fun of someone or fooling them, putting them on. Thick coat. Would that be a fur? No. The absolute best, like the House of Lords in Recess. Oh my goodness. Well, Recess makes me think this is wordplay and we're going to reverse the House of Lords. And of course, we think of the House of Lords as one thing, but I'm wondering if Lord's cricket ground and then just house on its own. The absolute best. I think that's going to be the definition, something like pinnacle, ultimate. No, not seeing it. A Gaulish warrior wanting 10 daggers. Gaulish is an unusual word because, yeah, wouldn't you just could say, well, no, maybe you do have to, I was thinking you could just say Gaul warrior, but is it going to be someone from Asterix, the Gaul, wanting 10 daggers? Oh, it might be one of the characters, and we take away 10 and we were left with a word for daggers. I know there are some very old names for daggers, knives. No. All right, get no hearing in criminal case of awful offender, alas. Oh, it could be a legal phrase. Let's see, we're looking for 14 letters. Let's see, offender is 8, 4 is 12. The case of awful are the outer letters A and L, so I'm wondering if it could be. Yeah, I think it might just mean get no hearing. Criminal is indicating we're going to anagram some letters, and they are the A and the L. Let's try the anagram helper. AL, offender, alas. I prefer to do this when I have some of the letters in. I'm wondering if the 2-letter word is going to be of, get no hearing. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be no. Oh, actually, I think it's going to be on. And I can just about make out that we have fall on deaf ears. So if you're not being heard by somebody, what you're saying falls on deaf ears. All right. That may be helpful. Let's go. Where did we leave off? The downs. Heads of publicity back from fashion party. Well, again, I look at the clues and I try and work out which words sound like they're wordplay indicators, and heads of can be the first letters of things, but it's almost like we don't have enough words in this one for a 12-letter. Heads of publicity. Back sounds like wordplay, reversing something. From fashion party. Maybe it is heads of publicity. And it's going to be some profession related to publicity. No, I'm not seeing it. How to get a rope for Tommy. Ooh, the second word ends in A. Well, let me just check a moment that I got 27 across right, because I had an awful feeling maybe it should be fell on deaf ears, but how many A's do I have in the answer? I have 3, and yeah, we have 3 in the fodder, I believe. All right, so how to get a rope for Tommy? Is it Tommy the Who album? How to get a rope. No, not seeing it. Resistant to cooking hot pot mostly, and fare that's stewed. Oh, ending in an F. Very unusual. So yeah, I think it's maybe. No, I think resistant to might be the definition, because I think cooking is an anagram indicator for most of hot pot. Let's say five of the first five letters. And fare that's stewed, and then we anagram fare. Let's try that. So hot po and fare, and it's going to mean resistant. What's going to become before the F? Oh, something proof, maybe. Yeah, I like that. Heat proof. Yes, all right. Not the most obvious word, but heat proof. There we go. Concerned with peak, I must climb, defended by a savage. I think it's going to mean concerned with, something like regarding, or it could be concerned as in worried. Let's see, a peak could be an alp. I must climb. And then defended by a savage, could that mean it's surrounded by a word for a savage? Oh, a savage could be a Hun, maybe? Ooh. No, not seeing it. Miserable. Across the channel, drinking English port. Well, maybe it's a 7-letter port city. Miserable across the channel. So is that asking us for the French word for miserable? What is the French word for sad? Désolé? Oh my goodness, can't think if my French is gone. But I'm thinking drinking English means we're going to put an E inside of a 6-letter French word for miserable. And it's going to give us a port. Or maybe it's a word for miserable. But across the channel, no, yeah, let me look up some French words for miserable or sad. Well, of course, there's Les Miserables, but there's also malheureux, or malheureuse, and épouvante. Oh, I can't say it. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to get some more letters for this one. All right, firm, hands, maintaining a pale color. Well, could mean firm, but I think firm in wordplay could be CO for company, RINC, but I think CO. And then hands could just be workers. Maintaining a pale color. Yeah. Hands, could that be hands in bridge, north, south, east, or west? Maybe the whole thing is a pale color, but I'm not thinking of one ending in L. No, I suggest that we put up American monument. Wow. Again, quite a long clue for 5 letters. I think monument is going to be the definition. That final A, I think, is going to be American. But what's then the first 4 letters? I suggest that we put up no, I don't see that at all. All right, let's look at, oh, well, the obvious character other than Asterix himself is Obelix, and 10 is X in Roman numerals, so I wonder if it could be Obeli. Let me look up that word and see if it means anything. Yes, an obelus is either an old name for a dagger, or it's the mark used in printed works to indicate spurious words or passages. Isn't that nice? I wonder if that, I know there is a little symbol used in printing that looks sort of like a dagger pointing downwards. I wonder if that's an obelus. Anyway, it's always good to get one from the wordplay alone, even if you've never heard of the word. What other crosses do we now have? All right, our belief now. Manx cat living with Rafe Fiennes currently. Yeah, what's going to come between the H and the I? I'm thinking it could be something like GHT. Let's see, Manx cats are famous for not having tails, right? Belief Manx. Nope, not seeing it. Here was our putting on thick coat. There's nothing picaroon's too old for. No. Oh, our American monument now is something something E something A. Well, we put up suggests maybe ends in EWA, but I can't think of any English word that ends that way. And then what would I suggest be? No, not seeing it. Ooh, our heads of publicity now, back from fashion party. It might be heads of publicity in a punning way, like headshots or something like that. I'm thinking it might end ICS. Let's think how the word play, back from fashion party. Fashion could be style, party could be a do. No, not seeing it. Yeah, I really didn't get too many other letters here. Oh my goodness, and we're almost at 40 minutes. All right, while I paused there and drank my water, I was looking at, strangely enough, 17 across, which is one where we need to solve 9 first, but I'm just thinking casts working sounds very much like wordplay, and working is often used for an anagram, and therefore the definition would be non-stop, and I'm trying to think what word beginning with I would mean non-stop, and I thought of incessant. So in fact, I think this has nothing to do with 9 across. I think it's NINE anagrammed with casts gives us incessant. So that's helpful. Now that gives us how to get a rope for Tommy. Race, rice, rock, rack, rock. Oh, rock opera is Tommy, an example. But how to get, oh, yes, oh. So this is one where the answer contains the wordplay in a way, because in order to get AROPE, you have to rock the letters of opera. That's that second level of difficulty that I think I'm making progress. When I started, that kind of thing was beyond me, but now I'm able to see that. Of course, it takes me 40 minutes or more, whereas the experts can do it in ridiculous amounts of time. Anyway, let's see. So now maybe this is Groucho. Could it be Groucho? Let's put it in and see if inspiring leader of revolution. That's uncomfortable. Oh, I think the ouch. Yeah, I think leader of revolution would be the R. That's uncomfortable. And this is inspired in work. Now, is go a synonym for work? I think maybe as a directive, if you tell someone go, you're telling them, you can be telling, of course, you can be telling them to leave, but I think you can also be saying start working. I'm not 100% sure of that. Let's see, we're well past the 30-minute mark, so I will check it. It is correct. That's, yeah, we'll see what 15 squared has to say about work being go. All right, so now, I wonder, just because of the firm being co, I do think of coral being, it's a light pink, right? Hands maintaining a, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, I think it is your right and your left hands. They're maintaining the letter A or enclosing it. And altogether that makes pale color. Whew. All right, how about the absolute best? Like the House of Lords in recess. Well, oh, yes. I was just trying to think of something like peerages, but then I thought if something is peerless, it is the best. And if the House of Lords is in recess, there are no peers there. Oh, very clever. All right, now concerned with, yeah, I think it's going to be concerned with peak I must climb, defended by A. I think that might be the A, and then something for a savage. Maybe it is concerned with peak, but I'm not sure what that would even mean. I'm going to resort to wordplays.com and see what words fit this pattern. I think it's going to end E-A-N, E-E-N, E-R-N. No, not seeing it. All right, well, I don't feel so bad about not spotting what word fits. I think the answer is apogean, which I presume is to do with the apogee, the furthest point. So I think the definition is concerned with peak. But then I is ego, or ego, but I think ego in Latin, which must climb. And that is defended by A and Pan. Is Pan a savage? He's that mischievous god, right? So maybe he is a symbol of savagery, but not the first one I would think of. Although, of course, in Pan's Labyrinth, he was a lot scarier. All right, how about miserable? Across the channel. Ah, yes, so there is Trieste as a port, and triste is sad. Oh, I should have thought of that. I know that word well, but it just did not come to me. All right, but at least I had sort of identified the component parts correctly, just didn't think of triste. Now, putting on thick coat, there's nothing picaroon's too old for. So I think it must begin with I'm. Yes, there is a painting term, I think, when you put on the paint very thickly. And there's the nothing at the end, and picaroon is too old for it. I'm past. Oh, yeah, that's clever. All right, so now our monument, let me get rid of that. Oh, is there a stena, meaning a monument? Let me pause and check that one. I think it's actually stela, or stela, and I suggest that we is let us, and that is put up, and then the A for American, and we get our stela. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those words you only see in crosswords. I may be wrong. If you've ever used that word in daily life, let me know. Now, let's see, what is this going to end in? Heads of publicity, back from fashion, party. No, I think I'm going to have to resort to the old wordplays.com again. Let me check that. No, I should have thought about this a little more. The definition is simply heads and think geography. And I should have thought, and I think this is how the wordplay is going to work, that publicity is PR, as it often is. And so the word is promontories. I can see the party is Tories. Back from fashion. Ooh, not sure about the back from fashion. Is it going to be the backwards N-O-M-O? No mo? I don't think That's anything to do with fashion or OMON. If heads of publicity, or sorry, if publicity is PR, unless it's PROs, pro. Anyway, we'll see what 15 squared has to say about it. All right, this then does seem to be some kind of ism, but not quite sure which one, so let's reveal it. Pantheism. Okay, that's certainly a belief, but what has it got to do with Manx cat lives with Rafe, finds currently? No. Yeah, I'm not sure where the wordplay is coming from. So we'll have to go to 15 squared for that one. Now, this is plural, so then that makes me think it is going to be starters. Let me pause and rehydrate and think about it. Oh, well, that's it's a word we all know, but just not one you would think of. Neophytes are starters, beginners in something. So it's an anagram of phone at the beginning. The cases of yet are the Y and the T, I think. To change. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, no, I think the mobile phones is an anagram of phones, and that is an anagram of yet, which changes. Okay, so cases we usually see as being the outer letters, but here it's one word or one anagram surrounds another anagram, basically. This certainly looks like rodeo, but I bet it's not. But let's put it in and check it. No. All right, let's reveal it. Oh, radio. Oh my goodness. A famous Christian's cycling broadcast. Well, I think broadcast is radio. But what is a famous Christian's cycling? Oh, it is Christian Dior. A Dior, and the R cycles back to the beginning. Oh my goodness. I should have thought a little longer about famous Christians, but not sure I would have thought of them. All right, how about thus Tom, which Tom can be a cat, of course, gets in tizzy after answer given in court. What's it going to end in? Lip, lap, lop, lop? No, I don't see that. I gotta reveal it. Cat flap. Ah, thus Tom gets in. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Tom gets in, the cat gets into the house through a cat flap. A tizzy is a flap, but that comes after. I did say court might be C and T, but that's just the first part of the word, and the answer is put inside to give cat. My goodness. All right, I'm going to pause while the bin men come and do their work and think about these remaining ones. All right, hopefully it's not too noisy outside. I was looking at this one and I thought, oh, of course, who were the original American protesters? And I suppose there was a later political movement, but Tea Party. So I think the pretentious is arty, should have thought of that. A knock is a tap, and the E for European bores into that. All right, so then what is our idealist running military group? Let me pause and think about it. There is a platoon, and I think idealist is being used for Plato. Now, is that because he was someone of ideas, or is it something to do with his philosophy? Um, well, of course, we talk about the Platonic ideal, so maybe it is to do with that. Running is on, as it often is in these crosswords, and then altogether it gives us a military group. All right, so then expose fraudster, we hear. I think one in extreme position. Yes, an outlier. So that would be someone in an extreme position. And it sounds like we're outing a liar. Okay. So then choose, this should be so easy, but choose to pen article on start of Rachel Riley's work, say. Um, I can think of op art would fit. Is there? Yeah, so I think choose is opt, and that pens an article A on the start of Rachel. There must be an artist named Riley who did op art work. Let me pause and see who that was. It is the English painter Bridget Riley, still alive, aged 92. So that's clever. I bet the setter loved coming up with thinking of op art Riley and then realizing they could work Rachel Riley into the clue. All right, let me check all. Everything still seems to be there. Let's nip over to 15 squared. All right, today's blog is by Andrew. Picaroon regains his missing O. Oh, yes. Mostly straightforward, less familiar words. All right. So let's see. On the acrosses, I think the first few I was okay with. Yeah, nothing is mentioned about not leaving Navy, but it is not less N. And deck is in a deck of cards. Oh, yeah, pantheism. How does this one work? Oh, a panther is a cat with no tail. That's, wow. Manx cat, we're supposed to think of another kind of cat and then remove its tail. And then is, and then M.O. is currently played by Ray Fiennes. See, that's, I haven't seen any of the recent Bond movies. And when I say recent, I mean any after Timothy Dalton, probably. All right, so the odds were against me there. Go is to work. I think it's not actually as a directive. If something is going, it's working. Or you can say something is a going concern, I suppose. Yeah, seems a bit loose. On the downs, it wasn't arider, it was drier, greater need of water, with its head, the first letter D, moved down in the order. Okay, so I got the right answer, but I got it the wrong way. All right. Promontories. Promo is publicity. I was just thinking it was PR, but it's promo. The back of fashion is N, and then the Tories. Okay. Yes, in rock opera, you have to rock the letters of opera to get a rope. Oh. And then apogean. Ah, so it's not a savage being Pan the god Pan, it's to pan something is to savage it. Ah, yeah, I didn't get that. All right, what do the commenters have to say? Uh, yeah, no one seems to be complaining about anything. Always like to see what KVA has to say. Yeah, to radio is to transmit over the radio. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Couldn't work out. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right. Well, that was a tough one, but more or less got there in the end. Just a few I needed some help with. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.